President Trump gave a fist bump when he stepped off Air Force One in West Palm Beach, the signature issue of his election campaign now codified into law.
Everything in here is really tremendous things for businesses, for people, for the middle class.
Donald Trump is fighting a strategic, daily, ongoing war and battle against the American left.
Democrats already regret it. They have their typical thing, it's for the rich. They know that's not true. I really do believe we're going to have a lot of bipartisan work done.
An ex-Marine turned Muslim convert is accused of planning a Christmas Day terror attack. Everett Jameson arrested after the FBI caught wind of his plan to use explosives and guns at San Francisco's Pier 39.
The Attorney General is ordering a review possible Obama administration interference in drug investigations involving the Hezbollah terror group.
SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 rocket from Vandenberg Air Force Base.
You guys, that's really weird.
There's another one coming out of it. Is that a UFO?
Jingle bells swinging, jingle bells a ring, snowing and blowing, bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun.
Yeah, we're getting in the Christmas spirit. You know,
we're dancing.
We're dancing a little bit. You know, last hour I was trying to be nice to Lisa because she overslept a little bit. I didn't want to tease her about it. I said, I should be nice to her. It's Christmas spirit. And then as soon as we go, she goes right at me and saying, Ed was just bopping around.
I know.
In my defense, I've not felt well for 2 weeks now, but I
Do you
am
know
so
what she
embarrassed.
also just said right before we came to air? And I know it's Christmas. It's 2 days from Christmas. You're waking up. You're in the holiday spirit.
I've been
Maybe
getting
you could
tweets
turn
about
on
this.
Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest movies of all time, that Lisa Booth has never seen.
I've never seen it.
She's never seen Andy Dufresne crawl through that and fall out in the river clean.
Which invoked some strong reactions from these two.
And
I'm sure you at home, so let me hear it. Tweet me.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry. I guess I need to watch it now.
We hope you're feeling better.
Remember, as you've reminded us, it's the eve of Christmas Eve. It is December 23rd. You're waking up. You might be doing some shopping. Hopefully you're just wrapping presents, having a festive, lazy day today, and watching it with us all morning long.
In matching family pajamas.
That's going too far. But if you have them, you can send them to us. Your emails have already been coming in this morning about what you're enjoying this day before Christmas. Paul sends this picture of little Owen celebrating his first Christmas this year.
That is awesome.
Cute. And Crystal from Kentucky says, my favorite picture I took of my daughter at a Christmas display in the lobby of the school in which I teach second grade. Look at that. Aw, she's such a little cutie.
And Jeff says his daughter loved meeting Mr. and Mrs. Claus this week. That never gets old. I love it. Keep them coming in. Friends at FoxNews.com.
I love the pictures of little kids that are just terrified of Santa. And they're everywhere, but it's just so funny.
I bet a lot of people...
Cute little baby or cute little, child, and they're just freaked out by Santa.
A lot of people will be visiting mall Santas today.
Yeah.
And send us your mall Santa photo if you have it.
Especially if
They're the
there's
best.
any
And your Christmas
baby
music
freak out.
requests.
It's just, I think it's adorable.
Mall Cop, another good movie. You didn't see that?
No, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen a lot of movies.
But you will be watching A Christmas Story with the rest of America when it rolls for
I've seen
24
that.
straight hours as
Yeah.
well. So we're glad to have you here this morning. Big day yesterday in Washington as well. The president is sitting behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office signing historic tax cuts for the American people.
something?
A very big
Oh,
deal that
Steve.
happened yesterday. Members of Congress had already gone home, so they didn't do a big signing ceremony. It was just him in the Oval Office, as I've said, marinating in the success of a tax cut, as we all should be. This is what the president had to say.
This is something that Republicans wanted for years and Democrats wanted for years, and yet it never got done. Who would object to trillions of dollars being brought back into our country? The bottom line is this is the biggest tax cuts and reform in the history of our country. This is bigger than actually President Reagan's many years ago. I'm very honored by it. Democrats don't like tax cuts. They want to raise your taxes. They don't want to lower your taxes. They want to raise your taxes, and they want to spend money foolishly on things that we don't need in many cases. I really do believe, and I said on social media today, I really do believe we're going to have a lot of bipartisan work done. And maybe we start with infrastructure, because I really believe infrastructure can be bipartisan.
Isn't it kind of fitting, don't you think, for him to sign this alone? Because it's sort of been him against everyone in some respects, right?
Great point.
A lot of the Republican Party has been against him, particularly in the campaign. The media is against him. We certainly know the left is against him. People already introducing articles of impeachment. So it's sort of fitting for him to stand there sort of against all odds, having been able to accomplish it. And of course he got it done with Republicans as well. And his party, but it sort of has been him against the world.
Not a single Democratic vote on this bill. It has been an unprecedented year of resistance from the opposition party, and I'm not just talking about the Democrats. I'm talking about, as Steve Bannon calls the media, the opposition party, because they're totally in cahoots against this president. And you didn't. One of the
what do you think of that?
Totally in cahoots. There are parts of the media.
95%.
I'm just going to mix it up between the two.
95% of the newsrooms in this city loathe President Trump and are doing everything they can to bring him down. I'll just, that's.
Yeah, and he faced resistance from his own party, and there was also failures by fellow Republicans for the president.
Sure.
Repeal and replace was more about Mitch McConnell not getting the job done. Now he got it done on taxes. Remember, after the failure on health care, basically the president and Mitch McConnell were not even on speaking terms. I mean, the president was tweeting about the failure. He was openly talking to the media, the president, about the idea that maybe somebody should replace Mitch McConnell. Well, now that they have the tax cut victory and they're all smiles, Mitch McConnell had this to say.
You had a pretty tense period with the president. He publicly criticized you. How specifically has your relationship evolved since that point?
Regarding the president's tweeting habits, I haven't been a fan until this week.
Well, look, I think Mitch McConnell is saying, okay, we just got something done that we've been saying we want to get done for 30 years. And what also doesn't get talked about, and I mentioned this earlier on the show, the drilling at Anwar, opening that up. It's been 40 years that proponents have been trying to get this done. The repeal of the individual mandate, something that Republicans have been talking about for 8 years. So just this week, we have 3 massive accomplishments for the Republican Party. So I'm sure Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan are, maybe there is something to this, because, we got some stuff done we want to get done.
Anwar is something that, going back to at least President Reagan, as I recall, they were saying, we're going to open it up for oil and gas exploration. Stopped.
And this president did it.
This is in there. And as you say, it wasn't even a standalone bill. It was part of this tax legislation. That's going to be big.
Imagine the irony, too, of him coming out and saying, I now like the president's tweets. Maybe a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think it's also an admission that Mitch McConnell and all these establishment Republicans have tried to play the inside game in Washington, D.C. forever, working with reporters and sources that secretly loathe them. Now those reporters have come out and shown their loathing of conservatives in the way that they treat President Trump. His weapon is his Twitter account. He sets the agenda every single day. And if you look at what he's accomplished in light of that resistance, it is simply amazing, including taking on the Mueller probe, when we've now learned more and more that there's Democratic bias and potentially FBI and DOJ officials using information weaponized against him. And also the intelligence agencies.
You have to think about it from their perspective as well. So look, this is everything that they have done and known for, decades in politics has been turned on its head. And President Trump has completely changed the game. We saw that in the campaign, and we saw that with this tax reform bill. I mean, he has literally done it against all odds with very little help. And as I mentioned, just a very slim majority in the Senate with just 52 and soon to be 51.
Where I agree is that there are some in the media. I don't think
100% agree with everything Pete and I say all the time.
This idea that the entire media is against him. Yes,
I'll put away my broad brush.
He has faced unprecedented resistance. I will agree with that. Democrats, people in the media, there's no doubt about it. What's fascinating to me, though, moving forward into 2018, is you now have people in the mainstream media saying Republicans are going down in 2018. Look, any new president faces difficulty in their first midterm,
is always
whether
difficult.
you're a Democrat, Republican. But this tax cut very well may help the president. And it's fascinating because these are the same people in the media who said Donald Trump was never going to win. I mean, look at what some of these same media organizations are now saying about the midterms. Vox saying that the latest 2018 midterm polling looks extremely good for Democrats. Mike, polling and history point to a historic Democratic wave. And CNN, Democrats' 2018 advantage expands. That's just in recent days.
Well,
I would argue the tax cut is going to help the Republicans big time.
Well, and also here, part of the reason Americans don't think they're getting a tax cut, only 17% think they're getting a tax cut, is the way that this has been covered by the media. Because if you watch a lot of these networks, if you read a lot of these publications, you would have no idea that you as a middle-class voter are receiving a tax cut. You would think it's just for the corporations, it's just for the rich in the way that it's gotten covered. So as soon as Republicans are able to get that message out and tell Americans that 80% of you, if not more, because that was a liberal think tank that came up with the 80% number, are going to get a tax cut, You don't think those opinions are going to change?
I think they will. Ultimately, when people look at their paychecks and see more money and realize that it was only Republicans who advanced that, views are going to change. It will also be on Republicans to fight back and say, we're the party that wants to give you your money. The Democrats are the ones that want to take it away from you. But look at that headline from CNN.
They don't think you deserve to keep more money of your money.
Fake news CNN, because they're ramming the easiest narrative down people's throat to advance their resistance against this president. And it is now 2018 doom for Republicans. You better run from President Trump. He's going to hurt you on the campaign trail. If Teflon Don has been this successful over the last year in light of that resistance, why would he not be that helpful to candidates who he can say, you come to Washington and join my fight. If you still want to drain the swamp, we don't have the wall built, but we want to build it, maybe as part of the infrastructure bill. If you want to do more, come join me. That's going to be a way more effective narrative than people think. And remember when they told us Trump was going to lose time and time again, and then he won. So why should we believe them now?
And something for viewers at home to know is the fact that every president has to pick and choose which campaigns, which congressional districts, which states they go and campaign with. It was the same thing with President Obama. He wasn't on the trail with every congressional candidate and every senator running for re-election because, of course, if there's a congressional district that Hillary Clinton won, of course President Trump's not going to go out there. But guess what? Democrats are running for re-election in 10 states that he won, and you better believe that he's going to go to those states and campaign with the Republican candidate.
Do you think Hillary will hit the trail?
I think she's going to go to districts that she won big time.
Really?
She wants back in.
Really exciting campaign.
I think they should keep that at.
It'll be really interesting if
give it the Heisman, right?
We will find that out. All right, don't give us the Heisman. Keep emailing us at friends@foxnews.com with your Christmas photos. We are in the spirit this morning and glad to have you. We're turning now to a couple of additional headlines. This one, an ex-Marine turned Muslim convert is accused of planning a Christmas Day terror attack. Everett Jameson, arrested after the FBI caught wind of his plan to use explosives and guns at San Francisco's Pier 39. The 26-year-old hoping to create, quote, another attack like New York or San Bernardino in response to President Trump's recent decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's eternal capital. The feds tipped off to Jameson because he started posting love of ISIS on his Facebook page.
That'll do it.
He's a really expert.
That'll do it.
Yeah. All right, Attorney General Jeff Sessions now ordering a review into whether the Obama administration hindered an investigation into the terrorist organization Hezbollah. The request follows a bombshell Politico report claiming the administration interfered with the DEA's investigation into the radical Islamic group's massive drug network, all as an effort to ultimately secure the 2015 Iran deal. The review could lead to new prosecutions of people affiliated with Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed militant group. And this Santa is not using reindeer. He's rolling in on a Coast Guard chopper, all while getting a breathtaking view of Hawaii. Watch.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blixen and all his reindeers pulling on the rein.
Santa, also known as an aviation survival technician, Walker, rappelled down from the helicopter, greeting people at Air Station Barbers Point in Oahu.
That's awesome.
You know what? I'll never forget when my first sergeant dressed up as Santa Claus and went out on patrol with us in Iraq. You always find time to have a little bit of fun, even in tough spots.
Merry Christmas. Meanwhile, the left literally screaming for President Trump's impeachment. But one Democrat says it's time for the party to end the resistance and get on board the Trump train. He joins us next.
His motives and his actions are contemptible, and I will fight every day until he is impeached. Impeach 45.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
The President's fitness for office is something that is being called into question. I'm very worried.
All year long, we've heard those calls for impeachment from the left, but our next guest says it's time for his party to end the resistance and get on board the Trump train. Andrew Stein is a former New York City Council president, chairman of Democrats for Trump. He joins us now. Andrew, good to see you. Merry Christmas almost.
Merry Christmas.
I want to start with that idea. Why have many in your party spent 2017 not fighting it out on taxes, not fighting it out on health care, but saying he's a bad guy, let's remove him from office?
Well, I think it's the Trump derangement system. They still haven't been able to accept the fact that Donald Trump was elected president. And they, from the very beginning, the deep state, the Clinton, Obama holdovers in the agencies, they're trying to delegitimize this president. and they want to impeach him. Make no mistake about it.
So moving forward, going into 2018, we just had this big tax cut victory for the president. What's your advice to fellow Democrats about working or not working with this president?
Well, I think that Democrats are making a big mistake by just resisting talking about impeachment. It's nonsense. This president has one of the best records I've ever seen, and I've been around a long time. This tax cut is going to help tens of millions of people, going to put money in their pockets. We've already seen the corporations announcing expansion, new jobs, bonuses.
All that, yeah.
Bonuses the day after the bill passed.
So let's get specific, though, about, say, infrastructure. Chuck Schumer's talked a good game that he can work with the president on something like infrastructure. You know him as a New York Democrat here. Can you name any specific Democrats, a Schumer or someone else, who will actually vote for an infrastructure package, or is it going to be resist again in 2018?
Well, I think it would be a big mistake for the Democrats to resist a good infrastructure bill. I think that's one of the things the president wants to roll out next is a strong infrastructure bill. I mean, we have airports crumbling, bridges crumbling. It would be a big mistake for the Democrats, having said that they want to
work with him,
not to work with them.
So now you've known Donald Trump as a New Yorker for decades. You knew him long before he was a politician, and you believe that he's been miscast by the media, as I've talked to you off the air, over the last year, going back to the campaign. But you spent about a half hour with the president in the Oval Office this week. Talk about his mood and talk about any adjustments you think as his friend he needs to make, whether it's with the tweeting, with his own outreach to Democrats. Could he do a better job of working with Democrats and reaching out?
Well, I think he's done a fantastic job with this tax bill and the cutting the regulations, and he made a campaign promise he was going to recognize Jerusalem. He did that. He made a campaign promise he was going to crush Raqqa, ISIS in the Middle East. He's done that. So I don't know few presidents in their first year that actually have a better record. I think he needs to do some fireside chats, really communicate with the people on a regular basis on what he's going to do.
So keep the tweeting, go around the media, talk directly to the American people.
The media, Ed, is so unfair to this president.
All right, you heard it from Andrew Stein. Democrats for Trump. Merry Christmas, sir.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, our child might be why you drink. We're going to have more about these Ohio parents who sent their kid's teacher a bottle saying, this might be why you drink. Some quick headlines again. An unruly passenger is accused of assaulting a flight attendant, forcing a plane to divert. The Southwest plane traveling from Nashville to Florida, stopping in Birmingham, Alabama, so officers could remove the intoxicated man they say became disruptive. The flight attendant, thankfully, is okay. And a fired employee using his car as a battering ram in the parking lot of Green Bay's Lambeau Field, home of the Packers, of course. Police arresting the former food service worker after allegedly chasing down an old co-worker. The two reportedly had a history of conflict. 5 cars were damaged. Thankfully, again, nobody injured. Lisa?
Well, the Summers family of Dayton, Ohio was wondering what to get their son Jake's teacher. Well, their idea was bottles of wine with Jake's face on them.
So awesome. The message to the teachers was simple. Our child might be the reason that you drink. So enjoy this bottle on us. Now this gift has gone viral. And here to talk about it are the Summers family. We've got mother Mary, sons DJ and Jake. Jake is the 8th grader whose face is portrayed on the bottle itself. So Jake, let me start with you. So whose idea was it to put your face on the bottle and give the gift?
It was one of my mom's friend's ideas, and she works for a pudding company, and my mom just picked up the idea, and she thought it would be funny.
Now, Jake, are you giving your teachers trouble?
No, not that much trouble.
But Mom, I mean, you must have a good light ribbing for Christmas is a lot of fun. But are you like, hey, I just as an insurance policy, you know, I don't know if my kid behaves that well, so I'm gonna run with it.
Well, it wasn't really an insurance policy. We've been associated with this school for 15 years. DJ went there, my daughter Sarah's gone there, and Jake has. It's more sort of a, this is your last chance with the Summers kid. Have a drink on us. Thanks for the 15 years.
Mary, what was the reaction from the teachers?
Oh, they all loved it. Overwhelmingly, they just all loved it. We have good relationships with them. The kids go to a K-8 school, so we know them all. We've spent 8, 9, 15 years with some of them. They all loved it.
All right, DJ, you're a sophomore.
It was all meant in good fun.
Absolutely. DJ, you're a sophomore at Ohio State, and we all know that older brothers are created to speak truth about younger brothers. So break it down for us. What did you think when you first saw this?
Well, the idea originated when I was home for Thanksgiving break. My mom kind of casually mentioned it to me over the dinner table, and I was kind of skeptical. I was like, oh, yeah, sure, Mom, like, whatever, I'm sure you will. And then, you know, she got a picture of it, and I told her, I was like, before you send those out, I got to get a picture. Like, I got to put this on Twitter. Like, my friends are going to think this is funny. And then, like, my friends did think it was funny, and then a lot of other people got a hold of it, and it kind of blew up over the last couple of days.
Well, it sure did.
And it went viral. Do you know how many people have viewed it so far?
I think I checked in the car on the way up here. It's like 1.7, 1.8 million people or something like that. I don't know.
Jake, you're famous.
I'm not 100% sure.
Well,
you're famous.
And we got about 1.7 million people watching this segment as well. So you just doubled your total. You know, Jake, how are you going to feel going back to school? I presume you're out on break now. How's it going to feel going back to school?
Yeah, I am out on break now, but I think that I'll be treated a little different, a little bit special when I go back to school.
Well, an important question, how does the wine taste for the Mother Mary, obviously?
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's a good Chardonnay.
Well, it's a great reminder that in communities where families go through schools, you do create great relationships with teachers and administrators, and it's awesome to see kind of a fun take on it from you guys, the Summers family from Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you guys
very funny, guys. Thanks for sharing this with us.
Appreciate it.
And Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
You got it.
Merry Christmas. And first, she wrote the book on what happened in 2016. You know who I'm talking about. Hillary Clinton is taking on her next literary challenge, editing Teen Vogue.
Oh, I got to get my copy. Plus, forget the oven. How about a smoked Christmas dinner this year instead? We're cooking up a daggum good feast, and I am so thrilled about that fact. Stick around.
You will be criticized no matter what you do. So just feel good about who you are and how you're presenting. I kind of adopted a uniform in a way, because if you wear pretty much the same thing, and for me it was pantsuits, pants and jackets, after a while people get bored talking about it. Everyone has a story, and history is about our collective story.
Well, Hillary Clinton got to edit an edition of Teen Vogue magazine.
And
she sure did.
She's never going to go anywhere. We're going to keep seeing her.
Well, that's right. So
alive.
she wrote a whole book called What Happened, which both answered the question on the cover. What happened? Hillary Rodham Clinton happened. She lost the election. She stayed in the woods for a couple of days and now has come out, and part of that has been a book tour to, you know, relitigate. And, you know, she's brought out every number of excuses as to why she lost. And now, as part of editing Teen Vogue, what was so interesting that caught our eye about it is that almost every single article in that magazine is about Hillary Clinton.
She had kids with signs, Go Hillary.
So funny story. You know The Onion, obviously it is a fake, it's satire, but they did a fake story saying that her next book is What Also Happened, where she blames her publisher, the bookstores for failure to present her book efficiently and where the public can see it, and basically blaming everyone else for bad sales.
But the more serious part about this, and a lot of conservatives miss it, is that these women's magazines have become extremely liberal and very partisan. Teen Vogue and Cosmopolitan, amongst them, almost exclusively left-wing. They even did some endorsements in 2014 and they would never endorse a pro-life candidate that was declared. It was all about women's issues. So conservatives shouldn't forget, these are places where young women get a lot of their news and get a lot of their information. And if you're not a part of it,
as an avid reader of the publication.
Of course.
But no, a lot of these...
Long-time subscriber.
A lot of these women's magazines, they don't feature Republican women. And so as a Republican woman, it's offensive. And, you know, what about all those young Republican girls out there that want to hear about women, like Nikki Haley, for instance, UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. We have a lot of prominent women, Republican governors
Kellyanne
as well.
Conway or the Sarah Sanders?
Yeah, Kellyanne Conway, who broke the glass ceiling.
Wall Picks or anybody.
And there was silence.
Yeah.
maybe hold your breath long enough. Teen Vogue might cover that.
Yeah,
but
let
probably
us
not.
know. You guys email us, and you can also email us about Pete's reading habits.
Pete also has
With Teen
one
Vogue.
green sock, one red sock. I've got candy canes.
Yeah, why not? You have candy canes on
candy
yours?
canes. They're
See,
small.
what's great is they're two different pairs. So tomorrow I'll wear red over here and green over here.
We won't even know.
But we're definitely bringing out the Christmas
Until you
colors.
let everyone
so.
know. Yeah. Thanks. Keep your emails coming in. What do you think? Who should be on the cover of Teen Vogue rather than, yes, Hillary Clinton again? But we're going to turn now to a couple of
So
additional
you have
headlines.
two pairs that are opposite?
Yeah, I mean, I have a green pair and
Or
a red
was it
pair.
just one green and one red?
I have one green pair and one red
you
pair.
bought
I
it that
switched
way?
them.
He's just
No,
switching it up.
I'm just in the holidays.
All right, I'm just
Just
trying to get this
feeling
straight.
the spirit. The holiday spirit.
We'll get you caught up to speed eventually, Ed. All right, we've got a couple of headlines for you now as we move on from that banter. The U.S. enhancing Ukraine's defensive capabilities, providing the country with anti-tank missiles and American-made javelins. The State Department saying the assistance is for strictly defensive purposes, helping Ukraine's military fight Russian-backed separatists. Big move there, for sure. And the Baltimore Ravens admitting that national anthem protests, the kneelers, are to blame for lower attendance. According to ESPN, the team's owner making that acknowledgement in a letter to season ticket holders, saying the Ravens' protest in London may have driven fans away from coming to the games. Despite a winning record, the team has struggled, like many others in the NFL, to fill its stadium this year. And a real Grinch now spending Christmas behind bars. This guy right here, I mean, it kind of looks, that is crazy. Caught on camera stealing an 8-year-old little girl's presents after breaking into a home in Michigan. That is unbelievable. Even distracting the dog with treats before making off with the gifts and a television. Police were able to, that's the last. Remember when the Grinch goes into the fridge and steals just the last thing? To identify the crook, they were able to use the video and make an arrest. So,
I hope she got her presents back.
to him. Those are your headlines.
Yeah, what a
Appreciate it.
jerk.
Well, we're going to Rick now.
Well, extreme weather coming this weekend, just in time for Christmas and that travel rush.
And the snow already piling up from Montana to Michigan and all the way to upstate New York and New England.
Rick Reichmuth tracking it all with the latest. Rick, good morning.
Those are all spots that want to see a white Christmas. Really?
Yes.
From Montana
Always.
all the way towards the Northeast. That's where you should see white Christmas. There's a lot of places, especially out west, that have been so dry and have not had any snow. We're getting a little bit. And take a look at these temperatures, by the way. It is really warm across the eastern part of the country. That warm air is moving up towards the Northeast, and that is going to be bringing rain instead of snow later on today. But we have a freezing round of rain that we're going to see, freezing rain round that we're going to see across parts of New England. Then rain moving in after that, and then snow. And a new coastal storm forms tomorrow. And that means we're going to be talking about some snow across interior sections for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day across parts of New England. That's great news. To get there now, we've got big travel problems today all across the eastern, really third of the country. I think expect to see a lot of travel delays across those airports. And fast forward in towards your Christmas Day, things looking pretty good, especially across the Northeast. It's going to be that idyllic little Christmas thing where you're in a snow globe seeing the snow, interior sections in the Northeast. That'll be beautiful.
Outstanding.
Once you finally get home.
So you said a third of the country is going to have trouble traveling, but 100% of the country will be eating.
And if they could eat John McLemore's food that comes out of your smoker and deep fryer,
goodness. It's amazing.
it would be amazing. Master Bill. John,
Yes.
what did you bring for us today?
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Fox and Friends has always been fantastic to our company, and everybody back in Columbus, Georgia wanted to say they wish they could be here, not for the rain, but for the food we're about to cook. So you guys ready?
We're ready.
Okay,
Yeah, tell us
so
about it.
we want to talk about freeing up the oven for Christmas and imagine New Year's. So we're going to do what we call an oink and gobble. Okay, it always gets a chuckle out of everybody. We're going to do a ham and a turkey at the same time. We're going to smoke it on the Masterbuilt smoker, and we're going to show how easy it is. This recipe is in my cookbook, Dadgum That's Good Too. And we're going to take a turkey that we've already got injected, and you basically, just like we deep fry our turkeys, you give it a nice injection throughout the whole turkey, the breast, the legs, and the thighs.
The first time this year because of you.
Yeah. Oh, and was it good?
It was fantastic.
It was great. And then we're going to take some olive oil, and we're going to put all over that turkey and completely coat it. Now, when you smoke it, that olive oil gives it a nice, good brown coloring. Then you're going to season the outside with some Cajun spice. We're going to put that on the smoker, and we're going to put it on the bottom rack at 225 degrees and smoke it for 30 minutes per pound. Then we're going to take this ham,
per pound. Okay.
and you're going to take your ham and you're going to score the ham like you see here about 3 inches deep, and that allows that smoke-infused flavor to get throughout this ham. Got some cloves in there. There you go. We've got some honey, brown sugar, and some Dijon mustard, and we put that over the top of that ham. So you want to do that before you put it on the smoker. And I believe we've got my brother Don outside.
Don,
do we have him out there smoking?
Wait, Don and John?
Don and John.
I like that.
We should have him out there somewhere.
We got a camera out there somewhere. There we go.
There he is. Okay, there's Don. So you notice how we've got the smoke coming out of that smoker.
Yeah.
And we've got the turkey on the bottom. There's that ham. So it's going to baste that turkey throughout the whole process. You got a nice, good golden brown turkey down on the bottom. And again, we're smoking that on the master-built electric smoker. And guys, this is the smoker.
That does look good.
It looks good? So, hey, Don, that's my brother. He's been my partner in crime all my life. Thank you, Don. This is the smoker, guys. Now, we've got this inside the studio. It's obviously an outdoor smoker. We're just showing this for everybody inside to see. Great Christmas present for everybody. This is the Bluetooth electric smoker. It's got 4 racks.
Wait, Bluetooth electric, why?
A Bluetooth electric smoker. So you can monitor the temperature, set it. You've got a meat probe to put inside of that turkey so that you can have the perfect oink and gobble recipe. It's not just for Christmas. Think about New Year's.
Of course. Hey, where can people find these?
Oh, go to masterbuilt.com or go to any retailer, basically Lowe's, Home Depot, Sam's, Walmart has them, Bass Pro Cabela's. You can still get it before Christmas. And the best place for the recipes and more information, there's my cookbook. We need to have you guys in there.
Dog-om, that's good. And there's a dog-om that's good too now as well.
2.
And we're going to work on 3 next.
That sauce is spicy. I can barely speak.
John McLemore, thank you so much.
And we're coming back to do a smoked prime rib recipe in about an hour.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
See you there. See you there.
You guys can't smell it at home, but it smells so good. My stomach is growling now.
How did we get stuck over here?
I don't know. It smells amazing. Well, coming up, is it Armageddon yet? Democrats have been freaking out about it during the year. About Donald Trump all around, President Trump. From the end of the Paris Climate Accord to net neutrality, the left has told you that the Trump presidency will be the end of days. Up next, we break it down with all the top freakouts.
Plus, you can't miss this. Reverend Franklin Graham will be joining us live with a very special Christmas message next hour.